Hello, everyone. I'm Indranil Chatterjee, the Chief Revenue Officer at Rapid SOS. We are so glad that you can spend part of your day here at Ready23. Today, we are joined by a panel of experts from both the business and public safety sectors, including Carl Dietrich, co-founder and president of Jump Arrow, Bryce Turton, co-founder and president of Responder Corp, Gordon Folks, founder and CEO of Archer First Response Systems, and Mayor Berkman, VP of Strategy and Business Development of Vive. Panelists, can you please take a minute to introduce yourself and shed some light on why you've been here talking about emergency response? Carl?
Thanks so much. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here and share a little bit about what we're doing at Jump Arrow. As you mentioned, my name is Carl Dietrich. I'm the founder and president of Jump Arrow. We are leveraging advanced air mobility technology to help first responders get to the scene of rural emergencies as quickly as possible. So our goal is to address the problem of long response times in rural areas. We've got about 4.5 million Americans that live in ambulance deserts, and we believe that we can drastically reduce that first response time with advanced air mobility technology that can get a trained professional to the scene of rural emergencies as quickly as possible. Looking forward to sharing more about that.
Thank you, Carl. Bryce?
Thank you. It's a great honor to speak to the audience here at Ready. We really appreciate the great work that you all do. My name is Bryce Turton. I'm a partner and co-founder at Responder Ventures, where we're focused on investing in early stage technologies that can support, enable better solutions for public safety. So first responders of all types, especially in the 911 space. So it's a great honor for us to talk today, and I look forward to sharing what we know about the space and technology with the other great panelists.
Thank you, Bryce. Gordon?
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate it. Awesome opportunity. Pleasure to be here with everybody and to talk with the audience. My name is Gordon. I'm the founder and chief executive of Archer First Response Systems. We have a firm belief that unmanned air systems can have a dramatic impact on the outcomes of time-sensitive emergencies. But we also understand that there is a bit of a gap between the agency's ability to utilize the athleticism and the programmability and the unique utilities of these machines and to implement them in the day-to-day operations. So we really stand to try and bridge the gap between all of the complicated mess of unmanned air system integration, operations, and of course, integration in the national airspace so that 911 agencies can fully capitalize on this infrastructure and take advantage of it and use it as a force multiplier to help prevent more fatalities.
Thank you, Gordon. Mayor?
Hey, it's great to be here with all the panelists and with Rapid SOS. Thanks so much for having me. I've been in EMS as a paramedic and EMT for a bit over a decade now, and just joined Vive as the VP of Strategy and Business Development over a year ago. At Vive, we're focused keenly on improving survival from sudden cardiac arrest. Sudden cardiac arrest affects over 350,000 people outside of the hospital setting every single year in the United States, and only about 10% of those patients survive. And despite the fact that we've put out many, many thousands of AEDs, spending many, many millions of dollars in this country over the course of the past 2 decades, we really haven't been able to inch towards improving survivability. Vive is focused on releasing a product, actually a product which we received FDA approval for and just brought to the market a couple months ago, but a product that is more wholly focused on making sure that not only are we putting AEDs out into our communities, but that those devices are actually deployed and used on patients to be able to help save more lives more quickly and make sure that families have more time to spend together. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all. First of all, thank you for joining us today. Our discussion today will center around the future of public safety technology and the power of these devices, including drones, to reshape the way we respond to these emergencies, right? So I'm really excited about this discussion. And so let's get right into it. Bryce, I'm going to start with you and ask you, you heard the other panelists talk about the different innovations, but a more generic question, what are one or two things that really excite you about innovation, technology, and how that'll play a critical role in the world of public safety going forward?
So we all know on this call that public safety is pretty notorious for being slow to adopt new solutions. And one of the things that we've learned over the nearly 8 years of investing in this space is that actually gives us an opportunity to look into a bit of a crystal ball. And what I mean by that is when early adopters start to experiment with new technology, it can take 5+ years before the rest of the industry begins to adopt those solutions as well. So what we've done is we've decided to really study the funding landscape to get a sense of what's coming down the road. So we track very closely all of these special project funding applications, normally around grants, and look at what's new, what's different. So these are projects that public safety agencies are funding through grants, not through their budget. And we see two things that are really increasing in terms of their magnitude and frequency. And one of those is software that makes life easier for departments. And it's not the most exciting thing to say, but it is something that we're seeing really play a big role in terms of the funding landscape. Is more and more departments are starting to adopt software solutions that makes their day-to-day life easier. The second is we're seeing some adoption of more advanced technologies, especially around training capabilities. So what we really think are interesting from a training perspective are solutions that could have a strong ROI in areas where they're expensive consumables. So we're thinking active shooter, wildfire, certain emergency medical situations where training in those events can be very, very expensive in real life environments. Virtual reality can significantly decrease the cost. As we see hardware costs decrease in the virtual reality side, there's improved ROI that we think will greatly contribute to an expansion of that in the training space. And then lastly, one of the single biggest ones that we see is an expansion of funding requests for drones and UAS. And so I'm really excited because we have two of the preeminent experts in that space here. And so I think we're going to get a really good opportunity to hear about that really critical area that public safety agencies are really hungry for funding. And I think that's a major answer to the question is the UAS and drone space.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Bryce. Carl, I'm going to go next to you. Tell me a little bit about Jump Arrow. You already touched upon it in your introduction, but also what is that problem that you get most passionate about solving, and of course, then what is your team doing about it?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So as far as the problem, so what we are really looking to do at Jump Arrow is reduce rural response times. We've got a situation here in the United States where you've got 1 out of 5 people that live in rural areas where the average response time is close to 15 minutes, right? And in cities and densely populated suburbs, we've got 7.5-minute response time, right? So there's a tremendous window of opportunity to improve that rural response time and bring it on par with what we enjoy in cities and suburban areas. And that's what we're looking to do at Jump. We want to help first responders get to the scene of rural emergencies, basically cover more ground faster, right? Get to the scene as fast as possible. We see that as a great use case for some of this new all-electric aircraft propulsion technology. Today, a helicopter air ambulance takes 3 to 5 minutes to spool up. With an all-electric aircraft, we can switch it on and go to full power instantly, right? So that gives us the ability to rapidly respond in an aircraft in a way that just hasn't been possible before with a traditional thermal engine, right? So it's a combination of a huge problem and some new technology that's maturing and certification pathways that are opening to enable that new technology to get to market to address this problem that everybody knows about, but we've just come to accept and say, well, you just live far off, you're in a rural area, can't do anything about it. Well, now we can.
Great. No, I'm a bit of a tech nerd, and just watching that video that you have on your website gave me a little bit of goosebumps, right? Like climate friendly, electric vehicle, the response times, love the mission, and love the problem that you're solving. Gordon, I'm going to go next to you. Similar question. What is the problem that you are trying to solve that really gets you energized? And a little different twist. What got you onto this? Like, what was the trigger or the catalyst that really got you working on this problem?
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. The problem is it's kind of multifaceted here. There's the overarching kind of macro level problem that Archer has kind of been set out working on, and this is time sensitive emergencies. Cardiac arrest is one of the main ones, opioid overdoses as well. Basically, these time sensitive, life threatening emergencies that do have lay rescuer friendly devices that can be implemented, just like the Avive device, to help prevent fatalities. But it really comes down to the time crunch of getting those there. So that's kind of the macro level problem that we're working to solve by implementing small unmanned air systems or drones to help expedite the transit time of getting these devices directly to the scene. The kind of lower level micro problems that we try and accomplish or we try and solve are really the challenges around an industry where the technology has developed exponentially quicker than kind of the world and the regulatory frameworks were ready for. And so it's working to bridge these gaps between this maturing technology and the day-to-day operations of 911 agencies, how to incorporate these into those, and then also how to do so into the national airspace in a safe way that can mesh well with all the other users of the national airspace. What kind of inspired me or got me excited about this was truly just the operation of unmanned air systems. I saw their athleticism. Just as Carl said, you can flip a switch and you get instant torque. You can blast off. We fly 40 miles an hour super quickly. They're very agile, and they're also programmable, which makes the automation of this viable. It makes it a system that can be a true force multiplier, where you don't necessarily have to have additional manpower involved to get the efficiencies gained by the implementation of this infrastructure. So kind of the combination of those, along with the spread of IoT devices and large 4G, 5G networks that allow high bandwidth of information to move across, all kind of just combined into this really interesting and exciting new technology that can be implemented to help prevent fatalities. And so all that together is really what excited me and led me to continue to pursue this.
Thank you, Gordon, and again, love the mission. I see a common theme, right, between what Carl said, what Gordon you stressed on, which is fast response, right? Time saves lives. Also an agile response, right? A response that where you can make it not just fast, but intelligent and agile, right? Based on the context of the situation. And thank you for the partnership also, Gordon, with Rapid SOS, and we'll get to that in a second. Mayor, I wanted to go to you next and really ask you about how you see the role of Avive in the world of public safety, and how you are disrupting / enhancing what is in place today. Because the problem you're trying to solve, which is scary, that only 10% of sudden cardiac arrests, as you said, survive. It's a massive and a very important problem. So take it away, Mayor.
Yeah, I mean, the enemy of sudden cardiac arrest survival is time. As everybody else on this panel has mentioned, we are working in the most critical emergencies to be able to deliver therapies and life-saving equipment as quickly as possible. As I mentioned before, 350,000 people in the United States every year experience a cardiac arrest outside of the hospital setting. And this is not a issue that is unique to the elderly or people who might have significant chronic diseases. I mean, we're talking about children who are dying every year. We're talking about people who are young who are experiencing this. We just saw a few months ago Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field and have a miraculous recovery after receiving extremely urgent and quick care that most people do not have the benefit of receiving. The challenge that we at Avive are looking to overcome is the fact that public safety has largely been disconnected from the broader AED ecosystem as it relates to getting lay responders to bring an AED to a patient and help them before public safety arrives. And I know certainly as a paramedic, and I certainly feel as though I could say this, that many other public safety professionals would agree that EMTs, paramedics, firefighters, police officers, 911 dispatchers, while playing an incredible and important role in survivability from sudden cardiac arrest, are not actually a patient's best chance at survival when they go down. A patient's best chance at survival when they go down is the lay responder, the person that's next to them or saw them collapse and is able to act immediately to save their lives. And up until now, up until Avive entered the market in the cardiac arrest space, AEDs really had zero way of communicating efficiently and effectively during that emergency with 911 telecommunicators, other public safety responders, as well as upstream and downstream providers that are ultimately going to be caring for the patient. And the way that we see our relationship with public safety evolving is by creating an ecosystem in partnership with Rapid SOS, certainly, where we can provide active, unique data to 911 telecommunicators that enables them to get care to that patient considerably more quickly than they would otherwise be able to do so if they had to wait for an EMT or a paramedic or a firefighter to get there. It enables 911 telecommunicators to activate a system of AEDs such that someone becomes aware that a person around the corner may have experienced a cardiac arrest and can actually bring the AED around to them and deliver them the care that they need. And then ultimately also helps us to deliver the critical data from a defibrillator, the EKG data that might be information about what caused the cardiac arrest to a hospital, to EMTs, to paramedics, such that they can do their jobs more efficiently, more effectively, and provide more professional and better advanced level care to a patient once they ultimately receive that level of care. And so we see ourselves as innovators in this space, not so much as changing the way that AEDs and AED companies have a relationship with public safety, but as being the first to actually introduce a defibrillator that has any way of communicating with public safety. And our relationship with Rapid SOS obviously plays a large role in making that happen.
No, thank you, Mayor, and thank you for the partnership. And what I love is, again, as we see the dots being connected, for example, between Jump and Avive, or of course, even Archer First Response, is we are all trying to solve that common problem. How do we make that last mile most efficient, right? Most agile, quickest, and it's a combination of technology. And what I like about Avive is you're empowering the common person to be able to, do so that, while help is on the way, the EMS, they may be in traffic or they may be, flying in. And so again, that making that last mile most efficient, it's fascinating and really, I think it excites and energizes all of us to solve that problem. Bryce, let me come back to you. Do you feel, again, inspired, energized, whatever word we want to use, hearing the founders and leaders talk about the problems they're solving? And then second, quickly touch upon, if you can, for folks, what are some characteristics and traits you think will make companies, especially in the world of public safety, people who are bringing in tech innovation to be successful?
Yeah, I feel the excitement. I mean, I love doing these sessions with entrepreneurs that are on the edge, right? Innovators that are on the edge. And as Carl said, what they're innovating is for something that does not exist right now. And that's so difficult. I mean, you're not following a path, you're creating it yourself. And I just have tremendous respect for the panelists here and the great work they're doing. And then you pair on top of that, it's very, very difficult, very challenging, so many engineering problems, but the end goal can have such a positive impact on our communities and societies. And I think that one of the things that's so unique about our industry is that there is this common thread, this common mission that ties us together. So your question was, what are some characteristics and traits that we see consistently in successful, innovative companies? And it really starts there. It really does. Where the innovators, the entrepreneurs have a healthy level of appreciation and respect for the mission that the first responder partners that they're working with have, and the importance of their technology in serving those individuals that are potentially getting in harm's way in the communities that they protect. But that respect and appreciation is balanced against confidence in their technology and in their product to disrupt their traditional way of thinking or to disrupt their traditional way of doing things, which is really, really hard. Public safety does not like change typically. And so to come in as an entrepreneur, you are inherently changing, and it requires a lot of confidence in your technology and your processes and your people. And to have that appreciation for the end user, but also the confidence in your product is something that's really unique, but it's a really special combination that can really lead to success in our space.
Thank you, Bryce. This is going to be probably our last question. So I'm going to start with Carl. Carl, we have a great audience of public safety and business professionals watching this. And question for you would be, you know, maybe two parts. One is, what help or suggestion would you have to get this kind of cutting edge technology adopted as quickly as possible? Of course, it could range from regulation, just the process of adoption of technology in public safety, etc. But any thoughts on that, Carl?
Yeah, so I think that first off, there's so much opportunity. And I think that to Bryce's point, there is, I would say, a healthy skepticism when it comes to the adoption of new technologies because it's not proven, right? And you've got folks that are out, boots are on the ground, lives are on the line. Why would I want to deal with something that's not proven, right? So we've got to be really upfront about addressing that in any of these new technologies as they come out. And that's indeed a big part of what we do when we have our first conversation with someone, is we say, look, this is going to be, for what we're doing in particular, it takes a while to develop an aircraft, right? And I've done this before. It's years of time that it takes to develop this. But we're fortunate to have some fantastic support from the United States Air Force. We've won a number of contracts. They've seen the potential for rapid response to move the defense mission forward. And I just ask first responders to think, what more could you do if you could get 3 to 4 times as far in 8 minutes as you can today, right? If you can imagine that your coverage area with one vehicle and a team of 2 people now is 10 times what it was in that time critical 8-minute window, right? What kind of impact could you have? How could that change your operating economics? And just like plant these seeds, because it's going to take a while for these seeds to grow, right? For them to germinate.
Yeah.
And frankly, the best ideas for how to do it come from the people that are boots on the ground doing it.
Yeah.
So like, all I'm saying is, hey, we've got this cool technology that I think can really potentially move the needle, but you've got to tell us how you would use it, yeah. Right? And
so Carl,
we'd love to help. Yeah.
And so Carl, if I were to summarize, what I heard you say is, A, have patience. This thing takes time, right? Especially some of the technology. B is have more people taking a step back, really appreciating the value of this, right? Like, and be the evangelists for this. And three is, especially for cutting edge, which requires upfront investment, some form of government support, right? Those 3 would help, speed up adoption and assimilation of this kind of technology.
Government support. I mean, honestly, even if there's no financial support, a letter of intent, an MOU, like anything where you say, hey, I would love to use this.
Got it.
That helps.
Okay. Thank you.
It all moves the needle. Yeah.
Gordon, in the interest of time, Gordon, what would be your ask/request, as people think of adopting this technology of drones in your case?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is getting over what I like kind of colloquially call the like sci-fi factor, in that a lot of this sounds too futuristic or advanced, and it sounds like great on paper. Like, sure, we'd love to transport defibrillators and Narcan on drones if we can, but getting over the hurdle of convincing and letting people understand that no, this is here today. Like you can do that today. The technology stack is here. Like you were talking earlier about the agility of using unmanned air system to deploy things. And one of the like great things about using or about having our integration and partnership with Rapid SOS is the accurate locations that these dispatchers receive through Rapid SOS. It's not just a dot on a screen. It's a useful coordinate that we can even use to route aircraft directly to people. And so there's so much efficiencies to be gained here, and all of the underlying technology stacks and integrations are all there. And it's a matter of kind of getting over that hump of thinking that this is some distant solution in the future, and getting like as Carl was saying, getting agencies to think about what would this look like if we implemented it today. And how would that change our operating environment and dynamics, even from an economic standpoint? How would this change our economic standpoint, and what efficiencies could we gain? So I think that's one of the biggest things, and I think it does take time, but I'm real excited about the future and the present actually. That this technology is here, and it's ready, and it's waiting to be used. So I think getting over that big hesitation and the sci-fi factor is what I call it is one of the bigger challenges.
Great. No, thank you, Gordon. Mayor?
Yeah, I think that what I would say to my friends and colleagues in public safety would be have a open tent attitude. And what I mean by that is, no one public safety stakeholder is going to fix the issue of sudden cardiac arrest. It's going to require collaboration between 911, EMS, police, fire, other public safety organizations, local health officials, hospitals, doctors, nurses. Everybody is here to play a role. And what we don't lack, and what we're not seeing and lacking at least, is excitement from all of those stakeholders. What sometimes I think we face as a challenge in public safety is the feeling that we have this need to take it all on our own shoulders. And what I would ask of my public safety colleagues is spread the wealth, right? Everybody wants to help. And the communities where we have felt we've had the most success over the course of these past couple of months are those that are willing to bring everybody into the tent to play a role in ultimately saving more and more lives. So that's my recommendation, and what I hope I'll be able to work on with many folks who are watching this in the coming couple of months.
So thank you so much, Bryce, Carl, Mayor, and Gordon. This was for me, it was a great learning session. It's always so much to learn from folks who've been doing that, working with all our customers and ecosystem partners on a day in and day out basis. I would encourage you to reach out to me either via LinkedIn or my email address. My first initial I, last name Chatterjee, iChatterjee at rapidsos.com. We have more engaging sessions lined up, so please make sure to explore them. But again, I want to thank each of you for the thoughts, the insights, and thank you, everybody. Thank you.